how do you express yourself when it's something that is beneath your understanding? We, as human beings, often desire to know everything. We want to know it all. And then there's a day where we realize we'll never know it all. This is a day I think we gain our wisdom, that we'll never understand and know everything that there is to know. But we choose at this moment to find, some people might call it a calling. We find our calling, we find our niche, we find what we're interested in. And we get really excited to be in that field, to be tapped in, so to say, to our own interests in seeking the next venture when it comes to that specific thing, whether it's real estate, business, education, understanding the mind, the body, the stuff that nobody understands, the energy, right? I, in my life, realize that all of my requirements for understanding were because I didn't get it. I had questions. I had so many questions why things didn't line up. We look often at everyone else and realize, most people seem to have it, you know? They have a family, or they have everything put together. But that's how you look to other people. The truth is, there's many levels to us, right? We all want to look like we have everything perfectly puzzled together. But it doesn't matter what path you choose, whether you choose the path of following someone else, creating it yourself, whether you choose to be somebody, or you choose to be in the background. It is all really your choice. You will have the same amount of confidence but it will be in a different realm. You will have your different insecurities, and it will be in a different realm. There's all things that make each one of us nervous. Each one of us feel deeply insecure. The major differences between humans is who faces those things. And the thing is, I think we all face them, but in different directions. We all have courage in some area of our life. It's did we use courage and direction in which way? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just you're in the part of the map that you're in. And you're going to have questions about the other parts of the map. So, whatever direction you chose to be in, you're gonna have questions about other stuff. Now, the people that really chose to understand and know themselves and say, for me, a path that satisfies myself deeper, that I can have more decision making in my own grasp. That I can organize and maintain my ability to lead myself. Take care of all of the things for me. You are a person that will have great conversations. Because as I speak about myself, and as you speak about yourself, which is what we call conversations, right? My viewpoint, my emotions. Your viewpoint, your emotions. We just reveal things about ourselves that allow us to know ourselves better. Each person that we converse with will draw out different things. Because it's where on the map are you? Where did you go on your treasure hunt journey? What is the things that you're currently on? Because sometimes in our treasure map journey, we learned to close doors and say, you know what? I did good with that one. Let's move on to the next one. Some people get 1 master's or 1 doctorate, and some people get 3 masters and 3 doctorates. They're still going to school, and they have great-grandchildren, and that's their vibe. And I have nothing wrong with that, because I personally still am educated continuously, just differently. I'm not really a big fan of walking into a school and having conversations with that mentality of person. Most likely, the whole understanding of the hierarchy of knowledge and the need for it to be evidently backed up, to be in an institution, is something that I had to leave behind quite a while ago on my journey. And it was a part of me truly stepping into what I study, what I'm interested in, what I value. And it was difficult for me because I am a very logical based person, and I have in my life grounded myself in my ability to be reasonable, to be of integrity, to hold myself to a standard. And I got to a place that I experienced consciousness itself, which is my experience and my understanding through all of the different levels that I've gone through to accumulate the skill set that I have now. Consciousness changed me because it's a different viewpoint. It's not a bird's eye view. It's not a on the ground. It's not looking up from the hole that you dug. Consciousness is not one viewpoint, and it's not one feeling. It has more of a vibe of like continual computing. To understand consciousness is why I have been so program orientated, because it's very program. It's very, very much about very intuitive, but at the same time very much requiring a certain level of structure in order to create that intuitive movement. And the intuitive movement is based on programming itself. Thing that I've realized about consciousness is it is actually very masculine. Consciousness requires something to move through it in order for it to change. So consciousness, in my divulgings through the universe, requires something to feed it to change it. It's willing, definitely willing. But the thing is, nothing is normally intelligent enough to communicate with it to change it. It normally just looks at your life and all life and uses its programs to allow life force to come through it, to evolve it. Similar to how biology moves, right? Life force comes through it, it becomes a human or an animal or a plant. And as it goes through its difficulties, the programs are set. Okay, how do we navigate this? And that's why consciousness, for the most part, is something that evolves with the human nature, with the animal kingdom, with the plant kingdom, all simultaneously, because they're all something that is built to evolve with its environment and with everything. You're getting to a level to mold consciousness. If you truly get how gut-wrenching that is. Can you imagine being able to change the very programs on how something operates? It's like if you pull the wrong program, the whole thing unrails. Do you get that that is a power that is just ooh. It's not like, quote unquote, what I understand as God power. God power is a power that can manipulate things, but everything can still go back to what it is meant to be. It still can move back. It might be difficult, but it still can move back. God power is like, okay, let me burn down the mountainside or rumble down the stuff. You can put it back together. It might have changed the landscape a bit, The rocks from the top of the mountain rumbled down towards the bottom. Now you have a different landscape, right? Now the bush turned into burnt stuff. Now all the seeds come up and you recreate. That's God power. It changes things. It changes the physical landscape. It changes the mental landscape. It changes everything. It's very powerful, but it's a manipulator of the codes and the forces and so forth. But to be in that place where I was affecting consciousness, it was actually a very short period of time that I was in that place, because I knew exactly what I had come to do, and I had prepared for it for years. It's hard to explain how one knows to prepare for something, but to be a very intuitive person means that you walk down a path that connects to deeper stuff within inside of you and says, okay, I know that I need to take a left turn today and I need to take a right turn today. The simple stuff, you just know, hey, I avoided traffic by going down this place. Oh, hey, that person was definitely not my person. I avoided. Oh, I'm so glad I left that relationship. Wow. It didn't have evidence, but I just knew. Everything's better in my life now. These types of inklings that you just continuously get, and mine just got so deep and so profound, and I tuned myself to be able to read frequencies in their purest form, which everything you look at in front of you, there's nothing that is just in pure form. You have millions of things that come together that create what you might understand as pure form. Light itself, oh my gosh, incredible. So it's a dance. Oh, it's so gorgeous. For some, I might have the wisdom and the knowledge of a millennia. And to others, I'm on the wrong side of the map. Do you find sometimes that you're on the wrong side of the map to the world? I know I've definitely felt that way. Some people might call it like a mission to accomplish. But I think it's just what we really set out for ourselves. And those of us who might have had a mission, it was just a difficult one to get through, and we had to find ways to help us get to the point that we asked for. And healing is one of those very difficult things because it requires a lot of intuition. It requires you going through a maze that you cannot see, and you're frustrated because you're triggered. You keep hitting like the trigger buttons and it's just like, and then sometimes there isn't a trigger button. That's why you're getting through something and you're like, how come I'm not? Like, what's going on? And it's like the veil, the elusive barrier. It's like, don't go over there. But your mind is so intelligent that it doesn't tell you to not go over there. Instead, it'll give you 6 trigger buttons in the other direction. So you go over there. Understanding your psyche is a whole next level of your mind is programmed to keep you away from the things that change you in profound ways, because those things that change you in profound ways are deeply, deeply scary to the human. Because it's a different system. Like intuition and the human mind are different sides of the map. Until they learn to get comfortable with each other, they don't. They're not a vibe. They're not a vibe. Oh my gosh. Because the mind wants to be leader, and it's not. So when you use your intuition, you put your mind second or even third or fourth, depending on what you're exactly doing. To train yourself when you are a highly intelligently puzzling type of being. I'm a puzzler. I am by nature, like, let me study everything, find all of the patterns and the behaviors and figure this out and draw those lines and make this happen. If I can tell you how difficult that made the intuitive journey. Because it made me feel like, okay, I got one step further. Let me figure out this whole thing. You'll never have an end to the knowledge that comes from certain journeys. And for me, the powerful, impactful journey that I chose to go on. I can speak about for the rest of his lifetime. You put a color in front of me and I could speak on it for an entire hour and just captivate. Because I can just speak truth on it and truth on it and truth on it and truth on it. Give me an element of the mind and I can speak truth on it and truth on it and truth on it and truth on it. I enjoy to speak about the experiences that I had, the places that I've been. And I enjoy to do it differently each and every time. We are designed by nature to repeat something. Some people repeat the same stories and the same memories. You know, growing up, I remember meeting what I understood as a grandfather. You know, you look up to these people, society tells you to, because they're old. You respect them because they're old, but it does not mean that they made the right decisions. Hey. This one man, he was a puzzler. He went to school to be an engineer, and he got into an accident. And everyone in the family said it changed him. I never knew him before the accident. And he wasn't able to recall information the same because he had a brain injury. So he became a government worker for the telephone. So back in that time, the government owned all the telephones and everything. So it was a good job, but it was still a blue collar worker, and he was definitely mentally a white collar worker. He was an engineer. He went to school. He was meant to be of a certain status, right? So I think that he carried that with him. And it always comes through in his stories and in how he expressed himself, because he got back his memory, he got back his things, but he never got his confidence to go and be that again. Because once he had his responsibilities, he just kept doing the government work. And I don't know if he ever mentally recovered from losing his memory for whatever year it was. I don't know if it was his memory or his ability to cognitively do certain things. He couldn't remember his schooling or something. This man, every time we visited, had the same stories. And I remember thinking by the time I got into like 10 or so, like, why does this guy always talk about the same stories? At first you're like, okay. And you smile and you nod your head because you're like, okay, maybe he just doesn't, maybe he thinks that I didn't remember. But I'm a person that remembers a lot, you know? And I remember thinking in those moments, this guy actually doesn't have any other memories that he wants to share. He says the same stories every time we see him. It was very interesting. As I got older, I saw a lot more depth to the in-depth, the lack of depth, I guess, and the family dynamics, because these were things that I have always been very interested in understanding. And I got to the place where I just realized it was a big mess. The more you can untangle yourself from relationships and people, the more that you get to express yourself as you truly are. Some people, it means you just don't bother with the contact thing. Because they just put you on the map, and then you have all of those programs like being thrown at you of their small-mindedness. And that in itself is something you have to get over, to have your own freedom. To have your own freedom is you getting over programs of requiring anyone and anything. That's a journey. There's a lot of fight. Because it's built. It's built. Everywhere you go, it's built. You can, of course, change anything you want if you truly desire to live as yourself in the greatest, most beautiful evolution. It's incredible to just be honestly most powerfully as yourself. And then interact with those who are telling their story, that you can sit down and have a conversation where you both come out going, hey, yeah. Life. Yeah. And that's really a beautiful thing, is to purely be able to express yourself. This is what I offer, however you come, however damaged you come, however positively powerful you come, however wealthy you come, however many people you've had to say no to. However much you want to stand on your path, and it's possible that you might just feel very, very alone in this world because nobody wants to just accept you for what you've chosen. And that can be extreme wealth in riches. It can be extreme wealth in spirituality. It can be extreme wealth in whatever area. But I've noticed one thing is the wealthier that we are in any area, the more difficult that it is to keep people around us. There's not many people at those levels that are willing to continuously allow themselves to refresh, be in the moment, so to say, and still have a level of cognitive intelligence. There's this continual switching that has to be integrated for you to not just be lost in the moment itself, but to truly have your mind and your soul on the forefront. This is really, in the most essence, what I offer. You know how hard it is to have a conversation with most human beings, and that's a hard thing to say. They're so full of programming and so full of magnets that you just, oh my gosh, I can't even. You trigger them. All their insecurities just pop right up. And you just realize it's just better not to. It's better not to converse with your staff, because then they grow this big-eyed liking to you, and then they either, oh my gosh, the gossip that comes with that, or they want to get close to you, and then and you're just like, I don't want to be close to you. I just wanted to have a conversation and be alive. And you realize that's never a good idea, because then the staff get ideas and then you have to get rid of them. And having a conversation with someone when you're of a certain status in this world is actually really hard to do. And to have a conversation that someone doesn't look at you like a psychologist, like, okay, I'm analyzing everything. Are you okay with that? But to have somebody who's actually on a similar wealth journey, a similar high value place where you are the god of your own existence, meaning you're the one that dictates everything, and your programs run and you don't want anyone to come against you. You're good with life. This is where a conversation with me can just be refreshing. I'm not here to look at you and say yes, yes, yes to you. And I'm not here to just be a cardboard sounding board. Like, okay, yeah. I'm actually another creator with high intelligence, but high intuitive, emotional intelligence. A conversation with me changes your life. And I sometimes don't say that much, but it's the energy that you're looking to. You're looking at me and you're realizing I'm not judging you. You're looking at me and you're realizing I'm not just a yes, yes, yes person. You're looking at me and you're like, wow, what do I even say? And it allows you to express things you haven't expressed. Maybe to anyone. And it's not odd and it's not evil and it's not over the top and it's not grandeur, because I'm not judging you. You're the center of your kingdom. I'm good with that, because I'm the center of my kingdom. I'm the center of my world. So, for an hour, I pay some attention to you. That's what I do. I just pay some attention to you. And I think this is so powerfully healing, because those of us who have great powers and great responsibilities, and it's not something that is offered. Everyone offers judgment, or they're cardboard. If they're not offering judgment, they're still judging. Like, and I'm just being real. Like, it's the most crazy thing to find someone who you can actually have a conversation that doesn't want to fight you. And if it's not verbally they're fighting you because they see you're a person of value and wealth, they're not going to say it out loud, but you can feel it, right? You can feel the judgment. You're looking at them like, yeah, I'm not even going to open my mouth. That's like a can of worms. No, thank you. A conversation with me is you finding something that you've been looking for, but you can't find it because you're lost within your own self world that you've been in, and you're good with what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with it. But maybe there's an adventure that is healthy for you that you want to explore, and you've just never found it. Maybe that's where a conversation will open for you. Maybe it's you looking for something that you don't know. You don't know what it is. You're what is it? What is it? I don't know. A conversation with me, you'll speak it out. Your words will just like, oh, that. That. Exactly that. Whew, it's powerful. Like, wow. A conversation it it it's like it pulls diamonds out of thin air. Like, how did you do that? I'm a very, 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 very special built energy. I've tuned myself very well. You can find me only one place to book. Only one place. ENYELAH.com. ENYELAH. I have one choice. It's membership. With the membership, you get one call. And after that, if you want to call again, separate. But you can because you're in membership. Nobody else gets to. And you'll see when you get to membership that not many people will be able to move past that spot. It's not an easy decision. I don't sell you on anything. I'm here for a conversation. And if there's a desire to utilize other skills, that can be in the conversation about a different something. But the first thing is just a conversation. That's it. But that it? Whoo, whoo. I can feel it. I can feel that. Please take time and sit with yourself. But I know you already do. For those who truly know, thank you for spending the time on yourself today. Listening to this entire video. I enjoyed expressing myself.